The silent alien woman. The sky above the mining colony was always gray. Dust filled the air. Machines hummed and clanked every hour. It was a place without color, without smiles. Just work. Cold, hard work. Jack Carter, a human security officer, stepped off the ship and looked around. This was his new post, a faraway colony called Rigel 9, deep in alien territory. He had been sent there to watch over the workers and keep things in order. He walked past rough buildings made of steel, past tired faces covered in sweat and grime. Aliens and humans worked together, but they didn't trust each other. Jack could feel it. Then he saw her. She was sweeping the dirt near the machine sheds. Thin, quiet. Her skin was soft gray with faint purple lines across her face. She wore old clothes, too big for her small frame. Her eyes never looked up. "Who's that?" Jack asked the man beside him. The man laughed. "Her. That's Syrah. Don't worry about her. She's useless. Can't fight, can't fix anything. Just sweeps floors and stares at the wall." Jack watched her. There was something in the way she moved. Careful. Slow, like she was hiding something. She looked broken, but not empty. For the next few days, Jack kept noticing her. She was always there, cleaning, eating alone, never speaking. Sometimes the other workers threw trash at her or called her names. "Hey, alien girl, you forgot to sweep behind my boots." Syrah said nothing. She just moved and cleaned. One evening, Jack saw two men laughing while pouring oil near her sleeping area. When she walked over, she slipped and fell hard on her arm. The men laughed even louder. Jack walked up to them. "Hey, clean that up. Relax, man. She's not even one of us." Jack's face turned cold. "She's here. She works. She deserves respect." The two men walked away, still laughing. Jack turned to Syrah and offered his hand. She didn't take it. Instead, she slowly stood up by herself and looked at him for just a second. In her eyes, there was something strange, something deep. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about her. Why was she here? Why did no one care about her? And what was she hiding? The next day, Jack walked past her again. This time, she was sitting in the dust, drawing something with her finger. He looked down. The shape was odd, not random. It looked like a symbol, circular, with marks that looked like letters or code. "What's that?" he asked gently. Syrah looked up at him, her eyes glowing faintly. "Home," she whispered. It was the first time he had heard her speak. Jack crouched beside her. "You miss your home?" She nodded, then quickly wiped away the drawing and stood up, walking away. Jack stared at the spot where the symbol had been. He had seen something like that before, back on Earth, in an old book about lost alien languages. Was she more than just a cleaner? The next day, a loud alarm rang through the colony. One of the small mining bots had gone out of control. It rolled fast through the camp, knocking over crates and nearly crashing into a fuel tank. Everyone ran. Except Syrah. She stood still in front of the speeding bot. "Move," someone shouted. But Syrah didn't move. She raised one hand. The bot stopped. Just like that. No sound. No button pressed. It just stopped, like it had obeyed her. Jack saw everything. He rushed over. "How did you do that?" Syrah looked at him with calm eyes. "It listened," she said softly. The other workers were whispering now, watching her, confused, afraid. "Maybe she's got tech in her head," someone said. "Maybe she's dangerous," another whispered. But Jack just stared at her. No, she wasn't dangerous. She was special. He didn't know how yet, but he was going to find out. The secret inside her mind. Jack Carter couldn't stop thinking about what he saw. One moment, a mining bot had gone wild. Sparks flying, wheels turning fast, heading straight for danger. The next moment, it had just stopped, frozen in place, and all she had done was lift her hand. Sarah, the quiet alien woman who everyone called useless, had controlled it, somehow. That night, Jack sat alone in the corner of the colony's mess hall. His food was untouched. Around him, workers laughed, played cards, and shouted over each other, but his mind was far away. He pulled out a small tablet and opened a private file. It was a report from 2 years ago. Declassified information about an ancient alien civilization known only as the Vayari. They were known for their control over machines, not through buttons or wires, but with their minds. Their thoughts could speak to metal. Their energy could move machines. Some even said they had a language made of light and motion. But the Vayari had been wiped out, or so the record said. He remembered the symbol Sarah had drawn in the dust. He had seen something just like it in the report, etched onto an ancient stone found on a dead planet. No one had been able to translate it. Until now. Jack searched again for Sarah the next morning. He found her outside the repair bay, silently cleaning old tools. Her sleeves were torn, her hands covered in oil. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept. He walked slowly toward her. "Hey," he said gently. "Can we talk?" Sarah didn't look up. Jack sat on a low crate beside her. "I know you're not just a cleaner. The way you stopped that bot, that wasn't luck. You did something. I want to understand." Sarah was silent for a while. Then, in a voice softer than the wind, she said, "You're not afraid of me." Jack smiled a little. "Should I be?" She looked at him then, really looked. "They fear what they don't understand," she said. "So they call it useless." Jack leaned forward. "Then help me understand." Sarah placed a broken tool on the ground and drew the same symbol again, slowly and carefully. "This means open," she said, "not like a door. Like a way, a key to speak to machines." Jack's eyes widened. "You know their language." She shook her head. "Not just their language. I am one of them." His heart skipped a beat. "You're Vayari." Sarah nodded once. "The last. My planet was taken. My people sold. I was young. They hid me, but I was found. Brought here. They erased my name." Jack's voice was quiet. "And now you sweep floors. They let me live only because I looked broken," she said. "And I stayed quiet, because sometimes silence is the only shield." Jack looked at her with new eyes. This wasn't a weak woman. This was a survivor. A secret power hidden under dust and shame. "Why now?" he asked. "Why stop the bot?" Sarah looked up at the sky. "Because you were watching. And you didn't laugh." Something shifted between them. A trust, forming slowly like light through cracks. Jack stood up. "Come with me. I want to show you something." They walked to the tech room. Small, messy, full of half-repaired devices. Jack picked up an old communication panel. "This thing hasn't worked in years," he said. "Can you try?" Sarah touched the metal with her fingers. Close her eyes. A soft hum filled the room. The screen lit up. Jack stared in disbelief. "How?" "Machines remember," Sarah whispered, "even when forgotten." He looked at her, amazed. "We could use this. You could help us." But Sarah pulled her hand away. "They'll hurt me if they know," she said. "They'll fear me." Jack nodded slowly. "Then we don't tell them." "Not yet. We keep it between us." For the next few days, Jack and Sarah met in secret. He brought her broken machines, a drone, a scanner, a damaged miner helmet. She fixed them all, not with tools, but with thoughts, with touch. She taught Jack some of the Vayari symbols, simple ones like flow, shield, and silent. He tried drawing them, but his lines were always wrong. She laughed for the first time when he messed one up. "You just wrote toilet instead of energy," she said. Jack laughed too. "Guess I've got a lot to learn." It was the first time Jack had heard her laugh. It was soft and warm, like something blooming in a cold place. But not everyone was blind. One night, a camera in the tech room flickered on. A shadow watched the screen. zooming in on Jack and Syrah together. "So the guard's protecting the alien freak," a voice said in the dark. The next day, the colony boss, Commander Drax, called Jack in. "You're spending too much time with the floor girl," Drax said. "You're here to do a job, not teach tricks to alien pets." Jack kept his face calm. "She's not a pet. She's smarter than any of us." Drax narrowed his eyes. "Careful, Carter. You're new here. Don't get soft." Jack left the office with a fire burning in his chest. That night, he found Syrah sitting alone, her arms wrapped around her knees. "They're watching now," she said. "They know." Jack sat beside her. "Then let them. I'm not leaving you." Syrah looked at him with wide eyes. "Why do you care?" He smiled. "Because the whole galaxy might have forgotten who you are, but I haven't." For a long time, she said nothing. Then she reached into her old torn sleeve and pulled out a small crystal, glowing faintly blue. "This is all that's left of my home," she whispered. "It remembers." Jack looked at the crystal. "Then let's help the galaxy remember too." Neither of them noticed the light blinking on the distant scanner tower. An incoming signal. A message. And it wasn't friendly. The experiment. Jack woke up before the alarms. His room was dark, except for the blinking red light on his comm screen. A message had come in at 3:22 a.m., but it wasn't from command. It was marked anonymous, and it only said one thing. "They're coming." He stared at the screen for a while. His heart beat slower, heavier. Something was wrong. And somehow, he knew it had to do with Syrah. He grabbed his coat and walked through the silent colony. The air was cold and still. Even the machines seemed quieter. He found Syrah where she always was, alone, near the water tanks, drawing in the dust again. This time, it was a complex shape, with layers and patterns. She didn't notice him watching. "Is it another word?" he asked softly. She jumped a little but didn't like the drawing away this time. "No," she said. "It's a system. Energy balance. Like breathing for machines." Jack knelt beside her. "Can you teach me?" She looked at him, unsure. "Humans don't learn Vayari ways." "Maybe not," he said, "but I still want to try." Syrah hesitated, then reached into her pocket and pulled out a flat piece of metal. It was dull, rusted, looked like scrap. But as she touched it, a small blue light pulsed from inside. "What is it?" Jack asked. "A memory plate," she said. "It stores designs, old ones, from before the war, before my people were taken." She placed it on the ground, drew a circle around it, and whispered a word Jack didn't understand. Suddenly, the metal shimmered. Light spread from it like water, forming a glowing shape in the air, a floating map of a machine Jack had never seen before. This was a repair drone, Syrah explained. It could rebuild itself using what it found around it. Stones, metal, even air dust. Jack blinked. "That's impossible." "For humans," she said. "Not for Vayari." He stared at the drone's design in the air. "Can we build it?" Syrah looked at him. "You want to try?" He nodded. "I want to run an experiment. Just between us. No one else needs to know." So they did. Over the next 4 nights, Jack and Syrah worked in secret, deep inside the abandoned lower workshop. They gathered parts, old wires, broken drums, metal scraps from the junkyard. Syrah showed him how to shape symbols using heat and sound. Jack helped carry, fix, and learn. Sometimes they failed. Wires caught fire, lights shorted out. But each time, Syrah whispered something, and the machine would calm again. Jack kept notes. He couldn't explain how it worked, but when she was near, metal listened. On the 5th night, the drone opened its eye. It was small, floating, glowing faint blue. It hovered in place, spun once, and beeped. Jack jumped back. "It's alive." Syrah smiled. The drone scanned the room, then began fixing another machine by itself. Jack stared. This could change everything. But outside the door, someone was listening. His name was Karn, a human mechanic who hated aliens. He had followed Jack for days, suspecting something strange. Now he had proof. The next morning, Commander Drax stormed into the tech wing. "Carter," he barked. "What the hell are you building behind my back?" Jack stayed calm. "Just fixing old tools." "Don't lie to me," Drax growled. "That alien girl is messing with tech. You've seen the rules. Unauthorized alien tampering is a Class 2 crime." Jack stood tall. "She's not tampering. She's restoring. She fixed a comm panel that's been dead for years. She made a drone from junk. You should be thanking her." Drax slammed a metal pipe onto the table. "I don't care what she built. She's not human. And this is a human colony." "But the machines obey her," Jack said. "Maybe we need that." Drax's eyes narrowed. "What are you planning?" Jack didn't answer. So Drax made a choice. He ordered Sura to be confined to the outer zone, an empty part of the colony used for storage and waste. "She's not to enter tech zones again," Drax said. "One more step out of place, and she's gone." Jack was furious. But Sura didn't fight. She just nodded and walked away. When Jack found her that night, she was sitting among broken crates, her hands folded in her lap. "Why didn't you say anything?" he asked. "Why let them treat you like that?" She looked up at him. "Because I've lived through worse." Jack sat beside her. "We need to finish the experiment. Show them what you can do." "They don't want to see," she whispered. "Then we'll make them see." But before they could plan, the sirens screamed. "Colony alert. Incoming ships. Unknown origin. High threat level." Jack stood up fast. "What is it?" Sura asked. He opened his comm. The signal from earlier, the one that said, "They're coming," now had a location. 3 ships, unregistered, armed, and they were heading straight for the colony. They said she's useless. Red lights flashed across the sky. Sirens screamed through the metal halls of Rigel 9. Every worker, every guard, every soul on the colony stopped what they were doing and looked up. 3 ships, dark, massive, no lights, no signal codes. They moved like shadows over the stars. Jack Carter stood at the edge of the landing bay, watching them approach. His comm crackled with static. Then the voice of Commander Drax came through. "All security teams report to the command center. Full lockdown." Jack's jaw tightened. He already knew these weren't cargo ships. They weren't here to trade. They were here to take. He turned and ran. Inside the command center, the air was thick with panic. Voices shouted over each other. Screens showed the enemy ships getting closer. What do they want? Pirates. Slavers. Why aren't they answering? Jack pushed through the chaos to Drax. "We need to get ready to fight," Jack said. "How many drones do we have?" "Barely 5, Drax muttered. 2 are half dead. Our turret systems are still under repair." "We can't hold them off," Jack said. "Then we evacuate." Jack froze. "What?" "I'm calling the emergency shuttle," Drax said. "We take the leadership team and leave. The rest, they'll have to hide or figure it out." "You're abandoning them." Drax looked cold. "I'm saving what I can." Jack clenched his fists. "You can't just leave everyone else to die. Watch me." Outside, the colony was in chaos. People ran back and forth, packing bags, hiding supplies, locking their doors. The loudspeaker repeated the same message over and over. Hostile ships approaching. Stay indoors. Wait for instructions. Jack didn't wait. He ran to the outer zone, to Sura. She was sitting alone, legs pulled to her chest, as dust blew around her. "They're here," Jack said. She looked up slowly. "I know." Jack knelt beside her. "We have to do something. They won't fight. They'll run. They always run," she whispered. Jack's eyes locked on hers. "But I'm not going to run. And I need your help." Sirrah looked unsure. They said I can't leave the zone. I don't care what they said. I've seen what you can do. She stayed quiet. Please, Jack said. They think you're useless. Prove them wrong. A shadow crossed her face. If I use my power again, she said, they will fear me even more. Good, Jack said. Let them fear the right thing this time. They went back to the old workshop. The little floating drone they built still hovered in the corner, quiet and glowing. Jack opened the storage chest. Inside were old cables, battery cores, and one half-functional defense turret. Can you wake this up? He asked. Sirrah placed her hand on the turret, closed her eyes. The lights flickered. The turret began to spin slowly, as if waking from sleep. Yes, she whispered, but I will need more. Jack nodded. Take what you need. I'll buy you time. He rushed back to the command center. What are you doing? Drax shouted as Jack ran inside. Stalling, Jack said. She's trying to fix the turrets. Who? Sirrah. Drax laughed, almost spitting. The alien floor cleaner. She's not fixing anything. She's useless. No, she isn't, Jack snapped. You just never bothered to see. Drax stepped forward, face red with rage. She's a risk. You're putting everyone in danger for. But before he could finish, a loud boom shook the walls. The first enemy ship had landed. The colony trembled. Outside, metal doors were torn open. Drones dropped from the sky, black, sharp, and silent. They moved like insects, fast and deadly. Panic broke out. Workers screamed. Some ran. Some froze. Security teams fired. But their guns were too weak. The black drones cut through walls, lifted supplies, dragged screaming colonists into the shadows. Inside the workshop, Sirrah stood in front of the little drone they built. Her eyes were closed. The metal around her began to glow faint blue. Her voice rose, not loud, but clear. One by one, the broken machines in the room began to stir. A mining arm twisted into a spear. A fallen repair bot straightened and walked again. And the turret lifted, aimed at the door, and clicked into firing mode. Jack burst in. They're inside the colony. Sirrah opened her eyes. I know. Can you stop them? She nodded once. I will try. They stepped outside. People screamed when they saw her. One worker yelled, She's bringing them here. Jack shouted back, She's trying to save you. They didn't believe him, but they watched. Sirrah lifted her hands. The machine she had revived followed her. 3 repair bots, the drone, and the turret. Then she whispered a single word. Protect. The machines moved. Fast. One of the black enemy drones flew toward a woman and her child. Sirrah pointed, and her floating drone shot a beam of energy that knocked it out of the sky. The repair bots charged into enemy forces, ripping through metal bodies with arms turned into blades. The turret fired a perfect shot. 1 blast, 1 kill. The colonists stared in silence. Even Drax stopped in his tracks. Jack stood beside her. You're doing it. Sirrah didn't answer. Her eyes were glowing now. Her voice spoke in Vayari language, fast and sharp. Symbols floated around her hands like fireflies. A wave of light pulsed from her body, and every human device around the colony blinked once, then locked into defense mode. Doors sealed. Lights turned red. The colony fought back. She wasn't useless. She was powerful. She was hope. Human plus alien equals hope. The air in the colony was heavy with smoke and silence. Pieces of metal lay across the ground. Enemy drones, black and broken, scattered like fallen insects. The machines Sirrah had brought to life still stood guard, glowing faint blue. For the first time, the people of Rigel 9 were not running. They were watching. Watching her. Sirrah, the same alien woman they used to call useless. Jack Carter stood beside her, sweat on his brow, dust in his lungs, but pride in his heart. He had believed in her, and now everyone could see why. Commander Drax pushed through the crowd. He stared at the destroyed drones, then looked at Sura like she was something he couldn't understand. "How did she do this?" he asked. "She's Vayari," Jack replied. "She's not just a cleaner. She's a protector." Drax said nothing. His face was pale. Sura's eyes flicked toward the sky. Jack noticed it too. A deep, low rumble. "They're not done," she whispered. Another ship, larger than the others. It hadn't landed before. Now it hovered just above the colony, casting a long shadow across the ground. From its belly, a new wave of machines dropped. They weren't like the others. They were taller, stronger, built for one thing: war. Jack's heart sank. "We can't fight that," Drax muttered. Sura stepped forward. "Yes, we can." Jack turned to her. "How?" She didn't answer with words. Instead, she raised the small crystal she always carried, the one she once said held the last piece of her home. She placed it on the ground and knelt beside it. Then she began to sing. Not in human language. Not in any language Jack knew. It was soft and slow, full of sorrow, like a goodbye wrapped in light. The crystal began to glow. First pale blue, then bright white. Machines around them began to respond. Even the human-built ones, scanners, doors, old mining tools, started humming. Wires lit up. Engines blinked awake. "What's she doing?" Someone whispered. Jack smiled. "Calling them." Calling who? The machines. Then, from the deepest corners of the colony, the old things came. A half-buried exosuit limped forward, its joints grinding. A broken transport vehicle rolled out from a junk pile, now breathing life again. An old cargo crane swung its arm, ready to fight. They weren't weapons. They weren't made for war. But under Sura's control, they became something else. Jack looked around. She's turning the colony itself into an army. Drax stepped back, afraid. This isn't normal. "No," Jack said. "It's better." The second wave hit. Enemy war drones slammed into the walls. One of them shot straight at Sura. Jack raised his gun, but before he could fire, the transport truck swerved in front of her, taking the blast. It crashed, but Sura was unharmed. Her machines loved her. They didn't speak, but they obeyed like family. Jack fired at another drone, barely dodging its claws. Beside him, the small floating repair drone zipped around, shooting electric pulses, taking down targets faster than any soldier. A scream rang out, 2 workers trapped near the fuel tanks. Jack ran, but Sura got there first. She raised her hand. A mining arm reached across the field and scooped the workers away, saving them just in time. Everyone stared. The useless alien had become their shield, their leader. But Sura was slowing down. Her hands trembled. Her glow faded. "What's happening?" Jack asked, running to her. "Too many," she whispered. "They're strong. My connection. It's thinning." Jack looked at the giant enemy ship still hovering above. "What if we take it out?" he asked. "Cut the head off." Sura nodded weakly. "But how?" Jack thought hard. Then it hit him. "The old energy core," he said. "In Sector 7. The one that was shut down after the fire." Sura looked up. "If we reactivate it and overload the charge." Jack nodded. "We aim it at the ship." "But it's unstable," she said. "Someone must stay with it. Guide it manually." Jack didn't hesitate. "I'll do it." Sura grabbed his arm. "No, you can't." "Why not?" "Because I saw it," she said. "In the metal. In the energy. If you go, you don't come back." Jack was quiet. Then he smiled sadly. "I'd rather not come back than let you go alone." Sura stared at him, her eyes wet but glowing. "Human," she said softly, "you always surprise me." "Good," Jack said. Let's surprise them too. They ran, past broken walls, through fire and smoke, into Sector 7. The core was still there, tall, cracked, leaking energy. It pulsed with unstable power. Sarah placed her hands on the control panel. Lights surrounded her again. "This will work," she whispered. "But I need time." Jack took a breath, raised his weapon. "Then I'll give you time." He stood guard while Sarah began the final charge. Outside, the enemy ship started to lower. It knew something was happening. The sky shook. The ground cracked. Sarah closed her eyes, and her voice rose again. Machines across the colony lit up one last time. And humans stood beside them, together. Not enemies, not strangers, just survivors, human and alien. The final stand. The old energy core screamed. Its light turned from blue to white, pulsing like a giant heart on fire. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Smoke rose around the room. Sarah stood at its center, arms stretched, eyes glowing, her voice low and steady. She was guiding the energy, controlling it like music in her mind. Jack stood just outside the chamber, firing at black war drones that had found them. His ammo was almost gone. He fought with shaking arms and bleeding hands, but he wouldn't stop. This was their only chance. Outside, the colony was a battlefield. Humans and alien machines fought side by side. Workers who once laughed at Sarah were now taking cover behind her creations. Turrets spun like dancers. The broken repair bots fought like warriors. But the giant enemy ship still hovered above, waiting, watching, and it was preparing its final attack. A bright red beam began to glow beneath its hull. "They're going to wipe us out," Jack shouted, looking at the sky. "We have to hurry." Sarah's voice trembled. "I need more time." "We don't have time." The control panel sparked again. The overload was almost complete, but something was wrong. The energy refused to lock onto the target. "It's not enough," Sarah said. "The core can't see the ship. Its signal is too far." Jack stepped forward. "Then we bring the core to the ship." Sarah shook her head. "That's impossible." Jack looked at the ancient machine towering over them. "Maybe for us, but not for the Vayari." She paused. Then she understood. There was only one way. She would have to go inside the ship, alone, with the energy bound to her body. Jack grabbed her hand. "No, we'll find another way." But she looked at him, calm and gentle. "You gave me hope," she said. "Now let me give you peace." He clenched his jaw. "I'm not leaving you." "You already saved me once," she whispered. "Now, let me save all of you." Before he could stop her, she pressed a glowing mark against her chest. The energy from the core leaked into her, blinding, brilliant, burning. Jack cried out, "Sarah!" But she had already turned. Her feet rose from the ground. Her body shimmered like starlight. Her voice, when she spoke again, was not just hers. It was hundreds of voices, layered and powerful. "I remember who I am," she said. "I am Sarah of the Vayari, last of my kind, daughter of light." And then she rose into the air, shooting through the ceiling like a comet. Jack fell to his knees, staring up. "Please come back," he whispered. In the sky, the giant ship began to respond. Drones swarmed around it, forming shields. But Sarah moved too fast. She tore through them like wind through leaves. And then she was inside. The ship's metal twisted and screamed. Deep within the enemy vessel, Sarah walked alone through dark halls. Voices echoed in her ears, old voices, from her childhood, her people, her home. They told her to be brave. She reached the center of the ship, a glowing red core surrounded by steel. The enemy leader appeared, a tall armored figure with no face, just a mask of glass and shadow. "You are Vayari," it said. "You should kneel." Sarah stood tall. "You took my world, but you will not take this one. You are alone. "I was," she said, "but not anymore." And then she opened her hands. The energy inside her, pure, ancient, powerful, burst outward in a circle of light. The enemy screamed. Machines shut down. The red beam preparing to fire faded. Outside, Jack saw the ship tremble. "She's doing it," he whispered. Then the ship exploded. Slow at first, like it was falling apart gently. Then fast, like a dying star. Light spread across the sky. People screamed. Machines stopped. Everything went quiet. Jack ran outside. The sky was blue again. The enemy ship, gone. The battle, over. But Sirrah was nowhere. People gathered, some crying, some silent. Even Drax removed his helmet. Jack stood in the middle of it all, broken and shaking. "She's gone," someone said. But Jack shook his head. "No," he whispered. "She's still here." And then, from the smoke above, a shape appeared, floating, glowing, alive. Sirrah. She floated down like a feather, her eyes closed, her body glowing faintly. Jack ran to her, caught her in his arms as she collapsed. "You did it," he said, tears running down his face. Her eyes opened slowly. She smiled. "Not alone," she whispered. For the first time, the people of the colony bowed, not out of fear, but out of respect. The useless alien was gone. In her place stood a hero, a legend, hope.